Want to go back to this video from within the last hour of the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon. Protesters clashing amid outrage following the hospital bombing in Gaza. Police were able to push those protesters back, but the embassy was set on fire, and the State Department has warned Americans not to travel to the region, and for Americans who are there to get out. There is a level 4 travel advisory for Lebanon and other parts of the Middle East at this hour. Joining me now is Arash Aramesh. He is a national security and foreign policy analyst. Thank you for your time. We just heard from President Biden from Tel Aviv. I wonder about his safety in the Middle East right now as he travels on day 12 of this brutal war.
I'm sure the president is in good hands. The U.S. Secret Service and the Israeli Shin Bet are two of the best, and they do everything they can to protect the U.S. president, all dignitaries, and the Israeli prime minister. Now, when you have a presidential visit, these visits are usually planned weeks, if not months ahead of time. What the president is going to do, what the host is going to do. This was an impromptu trip, a good trip, a well-intentioned trip for our president to go to Israel to show support for our ally. As you saw today, President Herzog showed up to the airport. Prime Minister Netanyahu showed up to the airport to greet the president. Former Prime Minister Yair Lapid showed up to the airport. This was quite a red carpet par excellence for the American president. And no one has ever received such a welcome in Israel. I'm in constant contact with friends in the region, and the Israelis are very happy to hear this level of support coming from Washington. And as a matter of fact, with American backing and with President's words today, yesterday, and the week before, Israelis do feel safer than they did on October 7th. So the president is in good hands. Israel is in good hands. The question is, what do we do to minimize civilian casualties in Gaza? What do we do to make sure the war does not expand and spiral into a regional conflict? Now, look at the players here. You got Hamas in Gaza. If you look at the map, if this is Israel, the southern part of Israel, there's a tip called the Gaza Strip. That's Hamas territory. Now, Hamas is funded, trained, and supplied by Iran, by the regime in Tehran, the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, you go a little further up north. Now, you go to the northern border of Israel. You got Lebanon. So South Lebanon, that's heavy Hezbollah territory. If Hamas is, Iran's friend, Hezbollah is Iran's child. The Islamic Republic of Iran created out of the Shiite movements in the 70s and 80s in Lebanon, probably the most potent, the most powerful military organization, a non-state actor in the region. That's Hezbollah. Hezbollah is both, the most important political and military force in Lebanon. Now, the images you're seeing now on your screens in Beirut, I want to paint a picture of the city of Beirut for you now and why Hezbollah is responsible. Beirut is divided into three parts: North Beirut, where the American University of Beirut is, East Beirut, or Ashrafia, which is sort of mostly a Christian enclave, and Central and South Beirut that's been predominantly Shiite. If you're coming from the airport in southwest of Beirut trying to go up north, about 35 minutes, 25 minutes to the American University. So where's the U.S. Embassy? The U.S. Embassy, the new U.S. Embassy campus is far to the northeast of town. From the north of town, so let's say from the American University in Beirut, right by the water, you need a good 25, 30-minute drive to get to the U.S. Embassy. The most powerful force in Lebanon is not the police, is not the Lebanese military, it's Hezbollah. Anything happens to the U.S. Embassy is on Hezbollah. And guess who Hezbollah answers to? The regime in Tehran and Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran. They have Lebanese flags, in Hezbollah, but the two, important banners they sit under is the Hezbollah flag and pictures of the late Ayatollah Khomeini, the founder of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and Ayatollah Khamenei, the current supreme leader of Iran. Not any Lebanese figures, so they show their true loyalty. So again, American embassy is American soil. People should know that a country's embassy is considered that country's soil. Attacking it, invading it, stepping on it, trespassing on it is tantamount to attacking America. What happened in Iran in 1979, what happened in Benghazi just in 2012, what's happened, several times in several places, that is tantamount to attacking U.S. soil.
Right. And the American embassy in Beirut has now been set fire. Arash Aramesh, thank you for your perspective on this. I'm out of time, but I appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.